Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Terry Gallagher, and I want to welcome you back to Come and See. In this episode, we're going to get maybe a little uncomfortable because we're going to get up close and personal as we talk about what's the effect of our diet in terms of heating up the earth, in terms of global destruction. And it turns out it's pretty significant. Michael Pollan once famously said that our problem with eating lies in that we shouldn't eat too much, and it should be mostly plants. And it's that mostly plants that really is the crux of the issue. Our Western diet that really strongly favors beef, right, has amazing destructive things. If cows were a nation, they'd be the third most destructive nation on earth in terms of global emissions. It's not just simply the fact that they belch all the time when they're digesting, and that belching is methane gas, which is 85 times more powerful of a gas than carbon dioxide. But it's also in the amount of land that we clear off for it. And it's also in the amount of water that is necessary to sustain the animals. It takes 10,000 pounds of water to yield 1 pound of beef. 1 pound of beef. Obviously, that's not sustainable. As we're looking at a world that's already got 7.4 billion people on its way over to 10 billion or more in the next 30 years, we're on an unsustainable path. And the problem is we're influencing the rest of the world. With our Mickey D's that we're exporting all over, more and more people are moving away from a fish-based and a plant-based diet into a meat-based because, well, we like the taste and we like the rich Western style. So what can we do about this? Well, there's a number of efforts that are trying to encourage us to move off. It's good for our health if for no other reason, but it's very important from an environmental standpoint. And so, all right, I'm a vegetarian wannabe. I confess right up front, I'm a carnivore, right? I really like meat. All right, but there are ways that you can gradually ease into this. There's Meatless Mondays, which has been a global campaign for decades, and it's having some positive effect. And for those of us like me that forget occasionally on Monday, there's always Try Again Tuesday, all right? Or there's Fish Friday. Or there's a new one I heard about, which is Vegan Before 6. So every meal you eat before dinner is plant-based. All of that can mean a significant reduction. One of the things that my wife and I have done over the last few years is we've completely moved away from red meat. So we no longer eat beef and pork. And here's the thing. We do just fine. We satisfy our meat craving through chicken and turkey and fish. And you can have outstanding recipes where I don't miss it. All right, I do get a little salivating when I see a rack of ribs. But, it's been 4 years and I've been good. Someday when I grow up, I hope to be a vegetarian, but it's a long way away from that for me. And maybe for you. But that doesn't mean we can't do significant efforts right now. Why is it important? Well, scientists tell us that the yield for going is, if we can move more of the human population, say half of it, away from meat, or at least making meat a small accent to it rather than the principal one, we can save 66 gigatons of carbon pollution at no cost. There is absolutely no cost to change this diet. In fact, there's a lot of savings. There's savings in terms of health, and there's savings in terms of the environment. And here's the thing, you don't got to wait for anybody else. You can do this starting today. More and more people are into it. I have friends that are vegetarians, and I have some friends that are vegans. Now, vegans is almost like a religion. But it's possible to do. You just need to be disciplined, and maybe someday we'll grow into that way. But in the meantime, starting today, we could change. Where does the Bible come into this? The Bible has lots and lots and lots of passages on food and on eating and on what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. And some of those are very prehistoric. They come and made sense when we didn't have refrigerators. But there are some rules that the call to being disciplined about what we eat and how much we eat is important. but there's one that speaks to me more than anything. And it doesn't come right to mind when you think about this issue. But if you remember the passage from Matthew, when Jesus is about to feed the multitude. It's Matthew chapter 14, verse 14 is where we start. He says, when he came ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, this is a deserted place, and the hour is late. Send the crowds away so they may go into villages and buy food for themselves. Jesus said to them, they need not go away. You feed them. Jesus says to us, we feed them. That can be a little hard to grasp. It can be a little difficult to understand. But if we live a life centered in compassion, the life that Jesus told us to live, then we have to be concerned about the future for our kids. We have to be concerned about all the poor people in this world. And one of the easiest ways we can approach that is to change our diet. Can you do that? Sure you can. Start with the next meal. Right? Start with a meatless Monday. And remember, if you blow it on Monday, there's always try again Tuesday. But try it. Your doctor will thank you. But more importantly, your kids will thank you. So we'll see you again next time on Come and See, and we're going to explore water resources. What a great thing to look at. Take care.
And faith is not in knowing, it's a willingness to learn. And faith is found in loving when there's nothing in return. So come and see, come and see. Around the bend, look my friend, and what could be? Come with me, come with me. There's so much more to know, so come and see. There's so much more to know, so come and see.